I know what you're thinking. Networking. Anybody catch the game last night? Might want to try my elevator pitch. Hi, my name. Oof, guess not. Tough crowd. You got this, JB. Be yourself. Firm handshake, big smile. You can do it. Come on. Networking's not that. Now watch this.
I thought networking was pretty stressful.
For the experienced,
Only for professionals.
Imposing on somebody's time.
selling myself.
Really intimidating,
Quite superficial.
a really structured process,
But it actually turned out to be life-changing.
It's really connecting.
Building genuine relationships with people.
a spontaneous experience.
A welcoming experience. It's natural.
For the interested.
For everyone. And it can really make a difference for college students.
I've never been a big fan of cold calling. It makes me feel like I'm imposing on somebody's time, that I'm being a bother. This person has their own experience, they're established, they're a professional. Why did they want to take the time out of their day to help me? And so with a little bit of push, though, there was one time where I decided to reach out to somebody on LinkedIn, a recent alumni from Vanderbilt who worked at a company where I was applying for an internship. I didn't expect much of a response, if one at all, and I couldn't have been more wrong. What I got back was an amazing list of advice and tips on how to best pursue the application process, and she even offered to hand-deliver my application to their recruiter. On top of that, we had several informational interviews where we talked about not just the company that she worked at, but the industry that I'm interested in as a whole. And so what I learned from this is that you have to put yourself out there. There are people who want to help, but it's just up to you to go out and find them.
So about 3 weeks ago, I received an internship offer from a company, and I was really excited and accepted it. But about 4 days later, I received an interview offer from another company that I had applied for. Ethically, I knew I had to maintain my loyalty to the initial company, so I was ready to turn down the interview offer. But I realized that I could use it as a development opportunity, so I asked the recruiter to make it into an informational interview. I fully expected her to decline this offer as the recruitment process is a very busy time, but to my surprise, she actually accepted it and was really happy to talk to me. In this conversation, we were able to talk about my life and my aspirations, and she was able to offer to set me up with a worker from the company to learn more about the industry and the company. And from this, I learned that individuals in the professional world are trying to help college students develop, and I realized that in the future I can use this and expand my network because there are people out there trying to help, and they will improve my future opportunities as well.
Personally, I was really intimidated by networking when I first thought about it just because I thought it was a way to use people to get where you wanted or where you needed to be. But once I went to the center and I found out it was really about finding people and having conversations and sharing common interests with professionals in your industry, it was a lot less intimidating for me. And sending that first email was difficult, but once I got that response, I realized that professionals are so willing and so eager to help, and they all understand what you're going through. They've been in your shoes as a student trying to reach out to other people, and having that first response for me was really inspiring, and it really motivated me to continue networking, and I found that it's such a rewarding process, and if you just put yourself out there, there's nothing to lose.
So during my freshman year, I'd always heard about how stressful networking was and how important it was to any student's college experience and any student's career experience. And near the end of my freshman year, I kind of got my first taste of that when I was reaching out to alumni and reaching out to older students and trying to get a feel for what their careers were and trying to explore what my fit was. And one experience kind of definitely changed my take on the networking experience and my personal career trajectory itself. Near the end of my freshman year, we had a Vanderbilt alumni
come and speak as a guest lecturer in one of our classes. Afterwards, her talk really resonated with me, so I reached out to her and asked, next time you're in town, can we get coffee? And we did. Next month, she came down and we talked and we chatted for over an hour. And our talk definitely resonated with me pretty strongly in that it not only affected how I saw my career playing out, but also how I saw networking. And the main takeaway I took from that was that now networking is something that's really natural. It comes really organically. It's just really communicating with people. But it also taught me that you don't need to connect fully with everyone you talk to. What you really want to do is speak confidently and speak respectfully to everyone, and some people you'll naturally have more in common with.
Last summer, I was fortunate enough to land an internship after my freshman year, and it was really my first professional experience, and it didn't require a lot of effort on my part because I got it through a family connection. But once I was there, my supervisor during my first week gave me a list of 20 professionals to reach out to because he really realized the value of networking, and at this time, I didn't really know why he was having me do this. But I did know that the first person on the list was a president of the company. And as I was looking at this list of 20 people, I felt so daunted. I thought, what am I going to talk about? I don't know anything about the industry. I don't have experience. Am I just going to waste their time? But my supervisor provided me with a few key questions like, how did you end up in the industry? What challenges you about your role? What excites you about your role? And for me, I kind of thought, well, I'm in college right now, so I can make a connection with these people and ask them, where did you go to school? What did you major in? And kind of talk about their path to how they ended up to where they are. And I just went with it, and after I got over the first few calls, I realized that as a college student, it's really not about what I know and what I can provide with these people in networking. It's about creating a human-to-human connection and really just using them as a resource and realizing that I don't have to know everything. I can ask them questions as I'm going through it. So by the time the end of the summer came around, I was reaching out to people that my boss didn't even know. And that's actually how I ended up finding another opportunity for this summer.
Last semester, there was an industry career day job fair that happened on campus where a bunch of company recruiters were coming to talk to students about jobs and internships, and I was encouraged by a lot of people to go and knew that I should to kind of get my networking experience started. But as soon as I got there and kind of saw everything that was happening, I really freaked out and was kind of thinking to myself, there's no way I can do this. These people are so scary and intimidating, and I'm going to mess up. I can't talk to them. But basically, I decided that I was going to make myself go, and I'm so glad that I did because as soon as I went inside, it took me about 10 seconds in a conversation with one of the recruiters to realize that they're really just normal people that are looking to have interesting conversations with students and people looking for opportunities, and they're not there to judge you or to intimidate you at all. So from that experience, I really learned that networking doesn't have to be intimidating, and then it's actually really interesting to talk to these people that are in the fields that you're interested in, and that as long as you put yourself out there, nothing's really going to go wrong. You're not going to mess up. It's just kind of a person-to-person interaction that can be very beneficial to you. And so now I'm not so afraid anymore.
It started back when I was a sophomore and I was looking for internships. I found my dream internship at my dream company, and I saw an email address attached to the bottom of it. And that's where I thought, okay, it's time to just put myself out there. Let's email this person and see what happens. And so it led to an interview, a couple more interviews, and I landed the internship. And so that was my aha moment, just thinking, okay, that was so worth it, despite my fears about reaching out to this person. So worth it. So I basically followed that exact same method the next summer, and so I had spent 2 summers in New York. And networking from there meant connecting back with those people each time I returned to school, asking them about positions and if they knew other people in the same field that I was super passionate about and interested in. And so now that I'm graduating in May, I'm still in my search, but I'm connecting with those people that I met with over the summer doing my internships, but also meeting completely new people that I hadn't met before. And that's also meaning reaching out to Vanderbilt alums and just putting myself out there in a friendly and honest way. That's kind of been my motto while networking.
During the fall of my first semester here, I had only the faintest idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. Sometime during that first semester, I discovered that a firm who I might be interested in was coming to campus. Unsure what to expect and only knowing that I might have an interest in the work that they do, I decided to attend the event. Soon after the presentation began, I discovered that I was the only first-year student in the room. After the presentation ended, I realized that all of the upperclassmen were approaching the recruiters and engaging them in conversation. At that time, I had a decision to make. Would I let my apprehension and my inexperience prevent me from taking advantage of this incredible opportunity? Or would I go forward and proceed to carry on a conversation with the recruiters just like the seniors who maybe knew a little bit more than I did or had a little bit more experience than I had? So I did the latter, and I engaged the recruiter. And contrary to my thinking, I discovered that the only qualification I needed to have a conversation with a firm or a recruiter or a company that I was interested in was a genuine interest in their work. And even today, only a few years later, I still find that the easiest and most important attribute to bring to a networking conversation is an authentic interest.
Last fall, I was walking across the library lawn when some alumni invited my friends and I into an event that they were having. We got into a great conversation about where their careers had taken them after Vanderbilt and the industries that they were all in. It turned out that some of the alumni were in the same industry that I'm interested in. We've exchanged email information, and I've kept in touch with some of those alums since that event. I've even secured a great internship in London this summer through one of those contacts. This experience taught me that networking can happen anywhere. It can be very spontaneous and does not have to be a planned, structured experience. It also is a snowball effect, where that initial contact turns into many more contacts in that industry you're interested in and even in other industries you might want to explore. This experience has taught me to take chances and not worry about networking so much.
I used to think that networking was intimidating, but it actually turned out to be very life-changing. I was shy as a freshman, and I did not want to talk to any professionals whatsoever. But the Career Center and my parents both emphasized the importance of connections and learning from other people's experiences. The first couple times I tried to call people, I was so afraid. I was nervous to dial the number and everything. But during one conversation I had with an alum, I actually discovered that he went to the same high school that I did. Immediately, the tone of the conversation changed. We both relaxed, and we ended up just having kind of a conversational kind of discussion. That conversation made me realize that professionals are people too. They've gone to high school, they've gone to college, they even went to Vanderbilt. And that conversation, because it was so relaxed, gave me confidence going forward. After that, every conversation that I had, whether it be on the phone or at an information session, became easier and easier. And that kind of confidence bled over into my everyday life.